The story begins in a thick, mist-covered forest where a young girl named Sela stands alone. Her gaze is fixed on the lifeless body of a ram tangled in the branches above. Its decaying forms a chilling omen. Sela is part of a secluded religious cult made up entirely of women and girls, all devoted to a single magnetic leader they call the Shepherd. The community is divided into two roles, wives and daughters, each marked by the color of their robes. Sela, still a daughter, wears blue. They live far from the outside world, surrounded by nature and bound to strict rituals. The shepherd guides them through chants, sermons, and rigid rules, keeping them dependent on his leadership. He warns that the world beyond is poisoned by corruption and reminds them they are fortunate to have been chosen. Sela appears obedient, but her quiet glances suggest a mind that wanders, curiosity flickering beneath the surface. During one ceremony, she witnesses a goat giving birth, an event treated as both sacred and symbolic. Later, she walks among the other daughters, listening as the shepherd praises them for being pure and untouched, unlike the spoiled wife. But cracks in this harmony are visible. One wife, known only as the shamed wife, lives in isolation, her face marked with scars and her eyes heavy with grief. Sela's attention is often drawn to her. That night, the group gathers to welcome the shepherd back from one of his many solitary journeys. Sela studies him closely, her expression unreadable. When it's time to sleep, a younger daughter quietly asks for a bedtime story, but the wives quickly silence her. Only the shepherd may tell story. Later, Sela spots something unsettling. From a distance, she sees the shepherd in his private shelter with one of her sisters. This is not the first time she's witnessed it, but tonight she watches longer, unable to look away as they engage in intimate acts. By morning, the ritual of bathing the shepherd begins, a ceremony that borders on worship. His presence is treated as divine. Soon after, Sela herself is bathed by the older wives. She's coming of age, and it's clear she's approaching the threshold of becoming a wife. Later, she's sent to watch over the flock. The day is calm, the sheep grazing peacefully, but she drifts off to sleep. When she wakes, she finds that a ewe has given birth to a stillborn lamb. At that same moment, she realizes she started menstruating, a dangerous reality in their world, where bleeding is seen as impure, even grounds for exile. She hides it in fear of what the shepherd might do. That night, she says nothing, but the wives inform the shepherd of her failure to protect the lamb. Instead of punishing her, he forgives her, a clear move to draw her closer under his control. Later, headlights cut through the darkness. Police arrive with a final warning. They must vacate the forest. Their home, their world is ending. The next morning, the shepherd gathers them, dramatically collapsing to the ground as he speaks of a promised land waiting for them. The wives and daughters chant his words with devotion. Sela, however, lingers near her mother's grave, hesitant to leave. The shepherd senses her doubt and whispers that she is the purest of them all. Another calculated manipulation. The group sets off. Days pass as they trek through woods and hills, stopping only when night falls. The shamed wife remains an outsider, eating alone under constant watch. One day, they stumble upon an abandoned house deep in the forest. Sela and the others slip inside, exploring a world left behind. Photographs, furniture, and fragments of a life they've never known. For a moment, they are captivated, but the shepherd storms in, furious at their disobedience, reminding them they may only go where he leads. That night, unable to shake the images she saw, Sela returns to the house alone. Inside, she stares at a faded family portrait. One of her sisters appears, quietly lifting her collar to reveal bruises, marks left by the shepherd. In that moment, Sela's faith begins to crumble, replaced by something colder and harder. By morning, her secret visit is exposed. The sisters cry out, calling her impure. She is pulled from the group and sent to walk with the shamed wife. The division is complete. Sela has stepped into a new, lonelier chapter of her life. As their journey continues, the weather turns fierce. The wind roars through the trees, driving the group to huddle beneath a jagged rock formation for shelter. In the dim quiet, Sela finally asks the shamed wife about her past. The woman's voice is steady, her eyes unblinking. She explains that her exile was not for violence nor betrayal, but for daring to question the shepherd's words. Years ago, when Sela's mother fell ill, she begged him to let her seek help. He refused, insisting that faith alone would heal her. Instead, her mother suffered and died in agony. That moment broke something in her, and for speaking out, she was cast aside. Scylla imagines a life that might have been herself in a car with her mother, laughing, free from rituals and control. But reality pulls her back. That night, she notices one of the younger girls already pregnant, and a crushing realization takes hold. This life is not holy. It's a cycle. Girls become wives, wives give birth to more daughters, and it all repeats. She wants no part of it. Weeks later, her exile ends when her bleeding stops, but nothing feels the same. The group pushes deeper into the wilderness, supposedly heading toward the promised land. Suddenly, a piercing scream echoes. One of the wives has gone into labor. She collapses, terrified of giving birth in the wild, but there's no choice. Hours later, the baby arrives, yet the mother never opens her eyes again. She lies lifeless in the dirt. Grief and fury ripple through the camp. The shamed wife turns on the shepherd, spitting out his real name, Michael. Stripped of his title, he burns the woman's body in silence. Scylla watches the flames, her anger burning just as hot beneath her calm expression. The next morning, as the group readies to move, Scylla notices the shamed wife staying behind. She learns why. Michael wanted to abandon the newborn because he's a boy. The woman refused, choosing instead to raise the child herself. Before Scylla leaves, she grips her hand and pleads with her to break free, to end this life for good. The march grinds the wives and daughters down. Hunger and exhaustion weigh heavy. When one girl collapses, Michael's response is swift and brutal. He beats her in front of them all. That moment is the final fracture in Scylla's faith. Around her, the girls are too weak to speak, too frightened to resist. But in her mind, the decision is already made. At last, they arrive at what Michael calls the promised land. He leads them into a lake, baptizing each one, claiming the waters are sacred. That night, the air around the fire feels different. The wives sit silent, their eyes distant. Later, Scylla is summoned to Michael's tent. He orders her to undo her braids, and what follows shatters her completely. The shepherd takes what is not his to take. By dawn, the camp is in chaos. Scylla wakes to the sound of screams. Every wife is gone. The daughters panic, searching until they find Michael by the water's edge. His voice is calm, almost serene, as he tells them the wives have been taken to heaven for their obedience. The daughters beg for the truth, and he delivers it coldly. They are the new wives now. Something inside Scylla breaks, rage surges, and in that instant, the daughters turn on him. He's outnumbered, overpowered, and beaten. Together, they end his life, severing the chain of control that bound. Not far away, sheriffs patrol near the forest edge. There, they make a grim discovery: the bodies of the wives murdered by Michael. Somewhere else, the daughters stand together in an open space beneath the sun. It's not the promised land he spoke of, but it's theirs, a place where they are no longer wives, no longer daughters, only free.
End the movie. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to check out our other recaps and subscribe for more content. And leave comment below. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.